microphone fame, Robb Wilton.
There's an awful lot of tittle-tattle going on just now. No, I mean, some say this and some say that and some, but anyhow. The first 60 years of life are the hardest, so they say. And after that, it's harder still, so shouty pipperay. They say in 1938 we'll all be on the dole. I've just had the private wire, but don't breathe it to a soul. I've been a married man now since 1909. Some say married life's all wrong, some say that it's fine. But after 30 years, you can take the tip from me. You can also take the missus and the lodger and the key and a ship to South Australia, or for preference the North Pole. But if you ever meet my missus, don't breathe it to a soul. Perhaps you saw me walking in the park the other night. Perhaps you saw me talking to a girl all dressed in white. And perhaps you overheard me as I whispered in her ear, "Darling one, I love you. Tell me, do you love me, dear?" I put my arm through hers and said, "Let us take a stroll." Ah, well, if you followed us any further, don't breathe it to a soul. I met a chap the other day, he said his name was Green. And he said he liked me more than any man he'd ever seen. He said he'd got £10,000 and might die any day. And he said he'd leave the lot to me. Well, I didn't know what to say. Just then his keeper came and said, "Come on, he's up the pole. If he's left you any money, don't breathe it to a soul." Since I bought a portable wireless set, I'm losing my reason. I'm mad, I'm insane. The announcer announces the fat stock prices, and tonight he'll announce them again. I want the news, and the kids want the jazz. The lodger wants peace, so he gives it the razz. The one thing that pleases and puts us all right is good night, everybody, good night. Everyone says that old England's in need of a real British fighter of championship breed. Well, I wasn't going to see old England stuck. I said, I'll have a go to get her out of the ruck. They said, "You'll fight far, so go in and win." To the thousands of people who were all listening in, the announcer announced Far's led with the right. Good night, everybody, good night. Once on a trip round the world as a foreman, I stopped at the City of Salt with a Mormon. Oh, no, well, they're the fellas that live decent lives. They know how to argue, they've got hundreds of wives. Although Salt Lake is the name of the city they've got, you can take it from me, they're mustard, they're hot. Well, just fancy each evening, what a bit of all right, saying good night, everybody, good night. I went to a theatre a short while ago. There were 17 murders all in the same show. I sat in the gallery all on my own. There were 2 in the stalls, just us 3 were alone. Well, you'd have thought 17 murders for anyone plenty. But the villain said, "Curse it, I'll make it 20. I said, "Love me, 2 in the stalls and me make it right. Good night, everybody, good night."